Let's talk about finance lessons from the Wolf of Wall Street based on my work experience at Goldman Sachs in New York City and based on my work experience at the top hedge funds in the world. Be sure to comment and like and stick around because at the end of this video, I will grade the movie for Wall Street realism with a buy, hold, or sell rating.
25 grand to the first nail of bullseye! 1, 2, 3!
Now, this is not realistic at all the way it works on Wall Street. You know, back in the 70s, maybe early 80s, it was a little bit crazy like this, but obviously this is a little bit far-fetched. And you wouldn't see this on traditional trading floors in reputable firms like Goldman Sachs, etc. Now, Stratton Oakmont, or the firm that Jordan Belfort started in the 1980s, was actually the largest O.T.C trading company in the United States. O.T.C means they trade over-the-counter securities, meaning crappy companies that are too small and not prestigious enough to be listed on the major exchanges, like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ.
About this. Money doesn't just buy you a better life, it also makes you a better person. You can give generously to the church or political party of your choice.
So the reality is, a lot of these billionaire Wall Street tycoons that run big hedge funds, they give a ton of money away. Not just to charities, but also to politicians. Now, before the Obama administration took over, there was a lot more political donations that went directly from hedge fund billionaires to politicians that actually got elected. And that's why for many years, the politicians would not go after the hedge fund billionaires. But now, of course, they do so.
You are lower than pond scum. You got a problem with that? Jordan?
No.
Good, because that is what you are, pond scum.
I love this guy. This is Spiro from Billions. The reality is you're not treated like that anymore when you first start these firms. There's too many lawyers around.
Your job is connector, which means that you will be dialing the phone over 500 times a day, trying to connect me with wealthy business owners. And until you pass your Series 7, that is all you're gonna be doing. Sit.
Series 7 is an exam that you have to take if you want to be a broker-dealer and talk to clients. When I worked at Goldman Sachs, they gave me 2 days to study for it. It's basically a review of the first year of MBA finance stuff. And there's ethics stuff in it as well.
So you've already met the village.
Smile and dial, and don't pick up your head until 1.
Back in the old days with Japanese brokerage firms, they used to actually tape a phone to your hand, and it would stay in your hand all day with the cord, obviously in the old days, until you got lots of customers, especially when it came to rookies that were getting hazed first day on the job.
You want to know what money sounds like? Go to a trading floor on Wall Street. This, that. I couldn't believe how these guys talk to each other.
Swearing like that still kind of occurs on trading floors, yeah. This is the best scene in the movie. What happened here is he's going off script, and DiCaprio looks over his shoulder right there at Scorsese to say, should we keep filming? It's brilliant.
I want to. That's not why I do it.
This is too funny because the way that he's dressed right here is exactly like how Gordon Gekko is dressed in the movie Wall Street. In fact, the movie Wall Street that came out in 1987 had a massive impact on Jordan Belfort and is the reason he started his firm. Little side note here, when it comes to the movie Wall Street, and I'll do a video on that very, very soon, but what happened with Michael Douglas after that movie came out is every time he walked down the street in New York for 2 decades afterwards, traders would come up to him and say, "Thank you, Michael Douglas, for making that wonderful movie. I work on Wall Street because of you." And Michael Douglas was sick to his stomach every time he got approached because that movie stands for greed and everything wrong with capitalism. I'm a capitalist, don't get me wrong, but that took it to the extremes. In fact, I think the movie Wall Street created monsters like Jordan Belfort and was actually the reason why we had the big financial crisis in 2008 when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working.
Second key to success in this racket is this little baby right here. It's called cocaine. Right? It will keep you sharp between the ears.
Back in the 70s, people used to use a lot of drugs on Wall Street and the early 80s as well. The reality is nowadays you don't see that anymore because you get drug tested. Before I worked at Goldman and Citadel and other hedge funds, I got drug tested right before I start. You don't see this anymore.
Unbelievable. My first day as a broker, Wall Street had swallowed me up and me right back out again.
It's really sad. Whenever the market pulls back a lot, these Wall Street firms will lay off a ton of people. They tend to overhire when things are good, and then they cut into muscle, not just fat, when things are bad. It can be a brutal industry to work in.
Where are your quotrons here?
Quotrons?
Yeah, your computers.
No, we don't even need computers here. We just trade right up the pink sheets here.
Pink sheets?
Yeah, they're penny stocks.
Penny stocks?
Penny stocks are the worst investments you can make. They're really illiquid. They don't trade that much. And the difference between the bid and the ask spread is so wide that you can lose a fortune. Please don't ever do it.
It is a cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest awaiting imminent patent approval on a next generation of radar detector. Now, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that.
This is total fraud, but what he's talking about is a lot of these big institutions have trading floors. The salespeople will talk to clients and try to sell stocks. And there's also a group of employees that work at these big investment banks called analysts. And the analysts will cover a specific sector. One analyst might cover internet stocks, another one will cover equipment stocks, etc. And analysts have a buy, hold, or sell rating usually on stocks. And that's what he's referring to right here.
That's the attitude. You can sell anything. Sell me this pen right here. You can sell anything, sell that. Go ahead. Sell me that pen.
So on Wall Street, you got to learn how to sell, obviously. And so they ask you, sell me this pen. I was asked this as well, and I can do it humbly, I think, better than anybody. So here we go. Pay attention. Ready? Sell me this pen. It's an NFT.
Boom. Sell me that pen. Watch. Go on.
You sell this pen? Write your name down on a napkin for me.
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
You know what I'm saying? Creating urgency.
All right, he just talked about creating a sense of urgency. You have to do that when you're selling as well, or people do it on Wall Street. And when they say urgency, they're usually thinking of a catalyst, meaning a reason to buy a stock. So, for example, years ago, I invested in Lionsgate Film, ticker LGF. And there was 3 catalysts that came out, which was the release of all 3 Hunger Games movies. I think there's actually 4 of them. But you got to look for a reason, a sense of urgency, which they call a catalyst.
Now, the key to making money in a situation like this is to position yourself now before the settlement. And you wait. You wait. And whoever speaks first loses.
Now, a sales tactic that a lot of people use is once you sense that your customer is interested in purchasing the stock or any product, you stop selling immediately, right? Otherwise, you sell past the close. If you keep selling, what people think is this: oh, I like this idea. Why does he keep selling it? He's still selling. Am I missing something?
My wife might divorce me, but yeah, let's do it.
This is so ridiculous. This stuff does not happen. In fact, if you spend more than $100 on a client for any event, dinner, whatever it is, drinks, usually you're not allowed to write that off. In fact, even if you take a client to a certain bar you're not supposed to be going to and your company finds out about it, you get fired right away. I worked with this guy once at a firm, and I can't tell you the name of the company I worked at, but it rhymes with Goldman Sachs, that spent $100 at Scores, which I think was a strip club, which I didn't go to, and he got fired because of that. This stuff does not happen.
Take a minute, look at my resume.
The Forbes article, they all want to work for you now.
Sorry, Mr. Belfort.
Forbes.
The reality is a lot of younger people want to work on Wall Street now because of this movie. I know it's crazy, but a lot of people want to. Kind of like back in the 80s, people wanted to work on Wall Street because of the movie Wall Street. Came out in 1987. All the billionaires in New York City, they all own a place up in the Hamptons. I'm sure it's just as beautiful as this one here.
That's where we become the underwriter.
It was our next big move, finding companies to take public, IPOs. It was the only way these Wall Street pricks would ever stop thinking of us as some kick-a-bucket shop.
The reality is a lot of these big investment banks make a lot more money, not from trading floors, but from doing IPOs. Now, back then in the 1980s, and 90s, when it came to IPOs, you would get a 7% fee. So for example, if you took a company public that had a market cap of $1 billion when it went on the stock market, you would get 7% of that. That's $70 million in net profit. Way more profitable than trading.
Enter our new securities attorney, Manny Riskin.
This is the S.E.C.
$700 an hour to be the voice of doom.
Listen to me. You piss up the S.E.C's leg, you end up with your in a ringer.
Will you not worry about it? I have the S.E.C under control.
The S.E.C refers to the Securities and Exchange Commission. It represents the police of Wall Street. When they investigate you, if they find you doing something illegal, which is certainly the case here in this movie, they can send you to jail and, of course, shut down the firm.
Hey, what are you doing?
The Securities and Exchange Commission sent 2 lawyers down to review our files. So I set them up in our conference room, and I had it bugged and the air conditioning turned up so high that it felt like Antarctica in there.
There's no way this happened. When the S.E.C comes to your office, you worship the ground they come on, you treat them like $1 million. Now, little side note, Martha Stewart was once investigated by the S.E.C for insider information. She was very mean to them, apparently, and that's one of the reasons why they sent her to jail for 2 years, among others.
And I will make you richer than the most powerful CEO in the United States of America. And I want you to ram Steve Madden's stock down your clients' throats.
So what he's doing here is they're doing the IPO for Steve Madden. And so the way it works is you take a company public, the investment bankers do that at a firm, and then the sales force on the trading floor will actually sell the deal. Okay, and so what they're going to be doing is selling the deal as much as they can so that the stock can spike so that the firm can make a fortune. And if the stock spikes a lot in day one, you make a lot of money. The reality is, though, that insiders can't sell for 6 months after an IPO. That's called the IPO Lockup.
I do that for anybody, anybody that needs the proper guidance. Can you say that again? Just the way you said it.
This is a great scene. The reality is, though, that there is no way that a Wall Street billionaire or multimillionaire would meet with the FBI or S.E.C without their lawyer present.
Under what circumstances would you be obligated to cooperate with an FBI or a U.S. Justice Department investigation?
Ça dépend. Whether America plans to invade Switzerland in the coming months.
Now, the reality is when it comes to Swiss bankers, pre-9/11, you could hide your money there as an American and the IRS couldn't touch you. But as of today, you can no longer do this. The IRS can get access to your name and so much more details from the Swiss government.
This deal that I'm about to sign, barring me from the securities industry, barring me from Stratton.
I'm not leaving.
You've got to be absolutely crazy to take on the S.E.C and think you can win. A lot of these hedge fund billionaires and multimillionaires think they're above the law. And so this is not very realistic. I know it kind of happened with Jordan Belfort, but no one in the right mind would try to take on the S.E.C. Everybody settles at some point.
First name on the list was Donnie. Ever get back to you about that account?
The reality is when the FBI gets you and they have you wear a wire, you usually give up other people, so you spend a lot less time in jail. I know it shows that he's being really loyal here, but he did turn on his friends, and that's the real story.
When we arrived at prison, I was absolutely terrified. And I lived in a place where everything was for sale.
The reality is when you go to jail for this insider trading type stuff, it's not maximum security. They call it Club Fed. It's like a low-end Ramada. I've never done anything wrong myself. I have visited friends of mine that have been in jail, especially at Taft, which is a jail 5 hours south of where I live here in the San Francisco Bay Area. There are no security guards outdoors with guns. There's cameras everywhere, so you can't leave. But it's not like it's maximum security at all. Again, there's a reason they call it Club Fed. All right, so the bottom line is, this is a great movie. I love Martin Scorsese. I love the acting. I'm going to give it a hold rating because a lot of it is not realistic in terms of what would really happen in the real world. Some of it is a little bit far-fetched as well in terms of historical accuracies. Love the movie, but I'm going to give it a hold rating. Please like and subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you.